this field.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, sustainability. Sustainability really comes in so many different shapes and forms. There are different definitions, different meanings, different understanding of what sustainability really is. It differs around the globe, across continents, across organizations, and of course individual people. We all understand sustainability in a different manner. At the same time, here at Rail Baltica, we realize an important thing, that we are delivering this infrastructure mega project. It is a mega project for the region, for a much wider European perspective, for the century, maybe for centuries to come. So the answer to how to get it right really is sustainability. We realize that there is a huge financial burden. There are environmental aspects to be considered, and of course there will be burdens for the populations living around the construction sites. So what can we do about it? We have our strategy, Rail Baltica strategy. It has sustainability built into all the blocks. So the 3 blocks are why we deliver, how we deliver, and what we deliver. So let's look at the sustainability part of it. So under why, it is clear that Rail Baltica is a catalyst to reach the climate, sustainability and safety goals of the European Union. How we deliver, we definitely need to ensure the socio-economic benefits. There is no question about that. What we deliver, it is a climate neutral, safe, interoperable, high-speed railway system. Then, as you already know, the project is delivered across 3 phases. The phases are design, construction, operating and maintenance. ESG best practices, we'll deal with those in a bit. ESG best practices are applied across the 3 phases. So ESG stands for E, socio, and for governance. E for environment. Firstly, on the Rail Baltica green vision. Rail Baltica does contribute to the EU-level sustainability goals, as already mentioned. It completes the trans-European transport network. It sees for the green and digital transition. And it helps doubling of the high-speed rail traffic by 2030, doubling of rail freight traffic by 2050 in Europe, as it is envisaged by the various European policies. On the planning side, there are a number of environmental aspects that need to be considered. There are those that are must, that go without saying, like the spatial planning, a strategic environmental assessment to balance the interests, defining the Rail Baltica route. There is EIA to avoid, prevent, reduce and offset the significant impacts, adverse impacts on the environment. But there are others as well that we all must be considerable of, such as noise and vibration, animal migration, barrier effect mitigation, preserving natural conditions, landscaping, infrastructure resilience, and of course the various very specific requirements for the construction and later operational phases. We have started the large-scale infrastructure object construction already. We know that a couple of stations are being built. Here in central Riga is one. We know that there are certain requirements in relation to ecology, biodiversity of corridors, green landscaping and local environment that need to be taken care of. We'll look for integrated environmental design such as passive design, solar optimization, thermal, local climate responsive and adaptive designs. In this time of energy crisis, one would say, energy efficiency, of course, goes without saying. It's efficient local energy and renewable energy design solutions that need to be implemented. On the economy life cycle analysis, sustainable whole life costing, value for money solutions need to be found and applied. On constructability, efficient construction options to minimize waste, amongst others. On the materials, material selection needs to minimize toxicity, and of course all the other aspects that are well known. In the construction side of it, so there are certain environmental requirements for the construction. And those need to be applied by the contractors. Just to name a few, there are requirements for construction site locations, construction works processes, obviously, construction site cleaning and waste management, water protection, noise reduction, dust control, soil management. All of these would help minimize the burdens on the populations living around the construction sites. Obviously, a monitoring of construction works for safety purposes as well. Then after the construction, there will be the operational phase. There are still decision-making, the still ongoing decision-making process for Rail Baltic operations phase, but still on the environmental side. There are a number of issues going on. A climate proofing study, proofing of climate neutrality, important issue. Zero environmental impact strategy implementation for operational and maintenance phase. Environmental management plan development on construction, operation and maintenance phases. And of course the sustainability strategy development. All of these ongoing. That was for E. Now let's deal with S. S stands for social. One would understand that delivering such a large-scale project is very, very difficult or nearly impossible without a large stakeholder base involvement. So if we want to be successful, we have to be successful at stakeholder management. Of course, the first and foremost is the society of our region, but also of a much wider European perspective. The communities, municipalities involved. Then, of course, the national policymakers, the EU policymakers. Then, of course, today is the industry day, so we have to recognize the importance, the huge importance to the project of the suppliers, of the employees, the national implementing bodies who do a large part of the work, and of course regulatory bodies and other strategic partners that are involved. So how do we do the stakeholder management? The first and foremost, the communication and relationship must be honest, fact-based, transparent. We have our common procurement standards and guidelines. This is for the suppliers to make sure that these are applied and always followed by. Knowledge sharing, cooperation in teams and across borders, very important. We are all, in fact, learning by doing. This is the first project of this kind in the region. We expect our suppliers and contractors to support the highest standards of human rights, obviously of labor conditions, the environment and anti-corruption. Health and safety, we strive for uniformity across the project. There will be a separate presentation for this, as it is a very, very important part of delivery. And responsibility for creating good working climate for the whole Rail Baltica team. This is part of ESG. Now let's see G for governance. On the governance side, any organization can always improve, and we are doing just that. We have asked external opinion, external assessment by the Baltic Institute of Corporate Governance to help assess us externally, understand what could be improved on the governance side, and there were a number of things, and we implemented all of them. So we amended their articles, we published a new code of ethics and conduct, important also for the suppliers to learn how our team works in delivery of the project. We have new supervisory board regulations, as the structure of the joint venture and of the whole project team is rather complex. There are risk management policy adopted, as well as a number of reporting standards like KPI performance, internal audits, risk management and such. The final slide here is on the summary of sustainability priorities for the next period, the next year. Obviously, strengthening the project coordination is a must, but we must do it with a focus on sustainability and ESG principles. Full completion and implementation of sustainability strategy is our priority as well. it will go throughout all of the phases of the project. Strengthening standardization, support, and compliance. It is also one of the parts of ESG policy. And continued developing of Rail Baltica economic corridor as part of the wider European corridor. So finally, I have to say that we can only deliver the project if we all apply the best practices. ESG is developing as we speak across the continents, organizations, and understanding of the people. So continuous engagement of the project partners is so important. Stakeholders, super important, and we look forward to working with you on the project. Thank you.
Good, thank you, Anri. And here I think it's just an insight in the vast topic of ESG, and therefore it's good to have you as a dedicated board member on this topic in the project. But let's say from all the good things, and these are not just words, for each of them there are concrete activities being taken. And the reply most probably would depend on whether I ask this to an engineer, to a procurement person, or whatever, or different disciplines. But for you as ESG, what is the ultimate goal for Rail Baltic from your portfolio?
Yeah, good question indeed. Why do we do all of this, right? I think I like to look at it from a very holistic approach. There will be negative impacts all across the board, we know that. So ESG is the tool to help us minimize the negative and of course to boost the positive effects. And the positive effects is something that we look forward to. It is what is supported by our national governments, by the European government, so to say. So we are looking forward to boost the benefits and, well, eventually we arrive at this bright future. Thank you.
Good. Thank you very much. Yeah. And as promised,